Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to see, for fun, I'm going to get over here and I'm going to see if it will get me out of this parking lot. Let's let this car go by. And looks like there's no one else around coming here. Let's see how it does. Let's see if it'll even give me the option. It will. All right, so we are getting in here. Speed limit is 15, which is good that it recognizes that it's 15. Let's see if it's going to take me. I need to go left. Oh, it is going left. No cars are in the way. It's creeping forward. Let's do this left turn. Let's see if, oh, it didn't quite make it. Let's see what it does here. It's not going to give me a U-turn. All right, well, that was kind of a fun little experiment. It does not have parking lots perfected, at least where I am. So let's get back on track here. I'm going to get on the, take a right turn. We'll get behind this Kia. And I'm going to go ahead and engage FSD beta, and we should be on track. Now, this traffic light, let me just make sure everything's good. All right, yes. This traffic light, it's yield on left. So a couple of problems it has with that. Number one, if there's a car turning left, it doesn't know that. So we as drivers know that the car is turning left, and if there's no one else coming straight, then we can turn left. But what I've experienced here is that it will wait until that car turns left and all is 100% clear before it will make that left turn. So we'll see how it does with this particular turn, but I'd be willing to guess that I can see that there is a car that is turning left. It'll probably have turned left before we get into the intersection, but we'll see. We'll kind of wait and see. This light's taking a long time. Just get out of the mall parking lot here. There is a car behind me, so I'm not going to hesitate too much. It's going way too slow. It's finally kind of edging up. There's a car coming. They're turning right, but we're going to wait until they turn right, and let's see how it does. There's too many cars behind me. I had to step on the accelerator there. It was just taking way too long, so I didn't want to be that guy. All right, we should be getting into the right lane here, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there we go. It's getting into the right lane, and then it's going to turn right at this light right here. I've seen in the past where if there's a big enough gap between these cars turning left, it will go, which is a little aggressive, too aggressive for my taste. Looks like that car is no longer turning left. I'm going to go ahead and let it just take its time here. There's no one behind me. This is taking way too long. Again, if there was a car behind me, I would have accelerated on my own here, but I just wanted to show you and illustrate that sometimes it just takes way too long. But then other times it does really well. So it's kind of a 50-50 toss-up. You just never know from each situation. I need to instigate that change into the left lane here. Should get up to about 60, 65, although with these turns or these bends in the road, it wants to go a little bit slower. Now it should start speeding up here. I'm going to have to instigate a couple more lane changes here. It's going to ask me to go into autopilot. There we go. We're navigating autopilot. There is a car that's kind of coming in kind of fast, so I'm going to wait for it to pass before I get into this left lane. And again, keep in mind, we are no longer in FSD beta when we're on the highway. We are now technically in navigate on autopilot. So when I put the turn signal on, a hard turn signal, it will change lanes for me as long as it's safe. So we are in the proper lane. Coming up here, we are getting close to getting back to the city streets. So it will go from navigate on autopilot, and we'll see the screen transition back to FSD beta. Should happen here shortly. We're slowing down as we get into an area where the speed limit is going to be a lot slower. And we'll see when it transitions over to F. There it goes. And now we're back in FSD beta. Now it has two options here, and it does really well every time. Instead of getting in the left lane here, it's actually going to get, well, proved me wrong. This is the first time FSD Beta has ever done this. Ever. I'll be honest with you, this is the first time ever. It's going to have a hard time now, because once we get past this light, we are going to be forced to turn left. We have to legally turn left. It's going to want to get into the right lane here, but there are a lot of cars, so it's got to make its way in. So let's see if it does. And all right, it did. It did great. There's a big enough gap that I was able to get into this lane. Again, this is the first time it's ever had to make this kind of maneuver, because every time, I kid you not, up until doing this video, I don't like this either. So what it's doing is, and this is also uncommon, it's getting into the right lane to pass these cars. But what's going to happen is, let's see what happens. It might, yeah, it's going to go back into the left lane. So it just basically passed that red car and then got back into the left lane. Once again, usually it just stays in the left lane. But for some reason, maybe it knows I'm doing a video and it wants to prove me wrong. I don't know. But this whole strip, just getting off the highway, was a first for me. And again, this is a first ever in FSD Beta. It has always gotten into that right lane, getting off the highway, or that center lane, instead of getting into the left lane. And it has always pretty much stayed in the left lane as well, so kind of unusual. We're doing some phantom braking, or just kind of abrupt braking, and I think it's just because there's a lot of activity. There are cars coming in, there are a lot of cars coming in the other direction. So it was doing a little bit of just some light abrupt braking, nothing too terribly uncomfortable, but definitely noticeable. But that strip that we just went down did a pretty good job just staying right in the center of the lane, minus of course some of that light abrupt braking. All right, the light should turn green here shortly, and we'll see how it does. There is a turn up here that I'll be curious to see how it does as we kind of take a sharp turn to the left. All right, so here we go. It actually does pretty well off of the line. It doesn't just take off very quickly. It slowly accelerates and then kind of gets into a faster acceleration as you start kind of get going. So overall, pretty happy with that, even with cars that are ahead of us. So once again, we're at this traffic light, and we'll just kind of wait and see, and just wait until it turns green. Once again, you can kind of see it just slowly starts to accelerate, and then starts accelerating a little bit faster rate after about a second or two once it starts accelerating. Interesting here, we have some road work, so some cones. So there's a utility vehicle in the center of the road here. So let's see how it does here. It's slowing down, that's good. It's going around these cones. I felt safe there. I didn't feel it got too close to the cones. I didn't feel unsafe at all. I felt that was a very safe situation. So good job at a minor construction site, if you will. That wasn't a very major construction site, but certainly enough where there were cones, and hopefully the car. Okay, here we go. This left turn, technically people tend to put their turn signal on, although you don't have to. We're doing that. We're going to this left turn, and beautifully done. Beautifully done. Sometimes it hesitates going into that left turn, but overall it did a beautiful job this time around. I've got the speed limit set, the speed limit's at 40, I've got it set to 45, and that's about what we're going here, going at a good pace. It sometimes has a little bit of trouble on this road because there is a lot of transient activity on this road. Not a lot right now, but there can be. So a lot of times when there are a lot of pedestrians, sometimes they just randomly start crossing the road. That can create problems. Here we are. Traffic slowing down, doing a pretty good job here, keeping their distance with the car in front of us. Felt safe there. Slowed down at a good pace. Didn't come to a complete stop. Did great. So I'm really happy with the way it handled that situation. Here we have a pedestrian on our right, but they're on the sidewalk, so most likely FSD Beta won't take that into account. And he's actually kind of going off to the right there. Yeah, no big deal there. Did a pretty good job here. Staying in the center of the lane really well. Just a good pace. Now, we are coming up on an area where there are some pretty sharp turns. So 45 miles per hour might be a little fast for it. So we'll see how it does here. Usually it does pretty good. It'll slow down, and it's usually pretty smooth. This one's not so bad. It should do okay here. I can see a biker, but they're on the left side there, so no issues there. Here we're coming up on a sharper turn. In fact, the sign there says 25 miles per hour. So as we approach, it's not slowing down at all. Now we're slowing down, taking the turn. Now we're down about 30. So it's slowed down, but not too abruptly. This right turn, getting into this lane, doesn't do the best job usually. Oh, there we go. Kind of a sharp turn to the left. And now we're in that right turn lane. Sometimes it turns right on its own at red lights. Other times it won't. This particular traffic light, it will not turn right on its own. So let's see what it does. We'll give it a chance. I'm going to go ahead. There's no one behind me, so I don't have to worry about blocking traffic up or anything. There's some cars coming in from the left here, so I'm going to wait. And more cars. No one behind me yet. Nope, no one behind me. Ooh, another Model 3. It's actually my neighbor. All right, so I can't see now. So let's see if it starts creeping forward. It's not. But it is seeing some of the cars. I'm looking at visualization. Now turn green, so there you go. So yeah, usually if there are no cars coming on the left side, I'll just have to kind of nudge it and it will start going. But good acceleration, great right turn there, by the way. Nice and smooth, no complaints there. Always does a great job on this road as well. We're up to 50 miles per hour, staying in the center of the lane. No concerns. Here's a truck on the right. Let's see how it does here. Looks like that truck is kind of coming a little bit into our lane. All right, pretty good, not bad. It didn't even slow down. We're getting in, it's gonna go into the center lane here. Yeah, for some reason here lately, it's been going into the center lane way too quickly to make that left turn. I'm surprised it didn't try to pass this Subaru, but it kind of stayed behind the Subaru, and then the Subaru eventually got into that turn lane. I don't have any issues with that. Like I said, we got into this turning lane far too quickly, far too soon. In fact, there have been many times where there are cars coming in from the other direction, which there weren't this time, you may have noticed. But when there are cars coming in the other direction, it will start to try to go into that left lane and then stop, because for some reason those cars coming in that's a problem. Beautiful left turn here, smooth, not too slow, not too fast, just the perfect, just right, as Goldilocks would say. I'm going to go ahead and bump this speed up to about 40 miles per hour, maybe 45, and we'll see how it does on this left turn. Now there's a left turn onto the main road here as we go into the neighborhood, that if there are cars looking to turn right at the stop sign, it doesn't do so well with those cars there, and can kind of make a lot of jerky moves with the steering wheel before it makes the left turn up here. So let's see how it does. It doesn't look like there are any cars there just yet. Looks like we're going to be all clear. Yeah, so we can't show that example of other cars, but let's see how it does here. Little abrupt on that left turn going into that turn, but overall, other than that, pretty smooth. 40 miles per hour. So this is where I'm not a big fan. And since this car in front of me is probably going to keep me from going too fast, but once we get up over the top of this hill, we start getting into more of a residential area. So it's 40 miles per hour now. Now we should be at 25 miles per hour. But without this car in front of me, I'd be zipping down this strip right here at about 45 miles an hour if I didn't stop it. So a lot of times as it's going that fast, I actually disengage autopilot or FSD. Here it is, look at this. It's stopping way too far. Now there's no one behind me, so I'm not concerned. It's stopping way too far and behind the line. But at least it's going into this road here without stopping mid-turn, so that's good. But it just took way too long to approach that stop sign, and I would like to see some improvement there. Once again, we're in the middle of the road.